Yeah, it's all part of it, man. It's all part of it. I feel like, if you're gonna pursue something in this world, you're gonna deal with it. Especially if you're gonna pursue something in a similar field as your dad, it's gonna come with it. And he's obviously reached the very top of this business. So if I got into this business and didn't think I was gonna deal with some of it, then that's on me, right? But I always looked up to my dad. Anytime it's like it's Chris Collinsworth's son, I'm proud of that. I'm damn proud of that. I know how he works. I know his path, his journey as a player, and then getting into broadcasting. And he's a wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not exactly a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, right? It's not like he had this massive brand of football, and he just was a worker when it came to this business, right? And that was his trajectory. So I feel like I saw that path, and I wanted to pursue that path. It doesn't matter what people are talking about. What am I working like? What's my work ethic like? And those are the only things you can control. But if my dad was an accountant, I would have wanted to be an accountant. If he was a restaurateur, I would have probably been in the back washing dishes and couldn't wait to figure out a way to be a restaurateur. That was just the way that I looked at my dad. So to be able to work with him and cross paths with him. I ran into him on the field last night before the game as he's heading up to the booth and we're doing the pregame show. Like that little 20 seconds to me is something I'll remember forever. So I'm always super proud to be Chris Collinsworth's son.
Now, hold on. You talking about looking up to your dad. You guys are in the same field. I mean, you play by play. Your dad is color. Has it ever crossed your mind a little bit? Like, maybe link up for a game or something like that?
Well, you got this guy, Mike Tirico, who's one of the greatest in the history of the world. So I'm going to let my guy, Mike Tirico, go up there and call him. And I don't know. I'm sure, Sean, you got to spend some time around Mike and Carl. I'm not sure. Syracuse, you probably have crossed paths with him as well. But, man, that guy has taught me so many things about probably just being a leader within this business. And they're trying to help people and trying to understand that it's a big team effort, man. You got a lot of people who are putting shows on television, and almost every game this year, I would have a text from Tirico when I'd wake up, and it'd be something about, hey, it's windy up there in South Bend. Make sure you tape your notes inside that booth, because once that wind gust hits, you're going to lose all your notes. You'd have some little tip inside that Notre Dame booth every week. So he's one of my best friends and biggest mentors in this business. So I'll let calling games be Mike Tirico's deal.
Mm-hmm. No, one funny thing I found out about Mike Tirico was, obviously I always hear him on the TV, but that first time that I got to talk to him on like those Friday meetings and stuff, his voice is the same. Like I always thought, similar to probably like Gus Johnson, like they have like just great TV voices. And when you talk to him in person, it's like I just expect like a normal, just like, hey, how's it going? But it's the same energy, it's the same voice, and that's always a good treat to be able to. And I didn't realize like how special it was to have, Mike calling games while we were playing at Notre Dame. And
definitely,
as you look at that, and it's like, wow, like he's been everywhere, he's done everything, and it's like we get to have a conversation with him on Fridays, before the game, and he gets to comment on the way we're playing. And so it was definitely such an honor. But
it was, man.
to say that, and then also you take over in that role. What was that pressure like? Because obviously you talk about the Notre Dame fans and how tough they are. What was that pressure like?
Yeah, I guess I was the only one crazy enough to follow Tirico, man. I can remember thinking that at the very beginning of it. So I was at ESPN for a few years, and then came back and did that pregame halftime role with Notre Dame football while he was still there. I'm so grateful for that opportunity because I thought it was like a chance to get a graduate degree in TV. It's like I'm here, I'm working hard, I'm doing my pregame show, I'm doing my halftime show, but I also got an opportunity to be in this room as Tirico's doing this job and watching the way he operates, watching the questions that he would ask you guys in those production meetings and watching the information that he cared about. It's like, okay, when you guys would say something, what is actually going to make the broadcast, and how is he going to turn that information around and present it to the audience? And so I was just sort of gathering data, gathering intel as to how he would operate for 2 years straight. And during that period, I had a lot of the same feelings as you, Sean. It's like, this is amazing that Mike Tirico is the voice of Monday Night Football. I can remember him calling NBA games forever when I was growing. He called every huge event, period. I mean, he's calling the Derby, he's hosting the Super Bowl. I mean, he's doing everything and he's here at Notre Dame football, and he was so all into it. You know what I mean? That was the thing, is he was so into it. It's like the biggest event he had ever done was every Notre Dame football game, because he had such a passion for college football. And you got the Syracuse flag right there behind you. It's like he has this love for college football. And to be able to meet with you guys, he looked so forward to it and thinking about what he wanted to talk to you guys about. It was such a passion deal for him. And so I wanted to take that and go, I feel the same way about it. So how do you keep this a passion? It's not a job, right? It's not something that you have to go do. You get to go do those things. And so as I watched Tirico,